This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Wednesday, February 10th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so obviously BPTH, I mean, just what a phenomenal trade. It really hurt to have to get out of this, but unfortunately, we do have classes and a meeting to do today. Overall, so it's kind of funny because as we were coming to this 10 level, the 10 was very weak, but then we got a pretty nice hit as it was coming back up, and it looked like it was all in between. And same thing that just happened at that 11 level. So it's really kind of showing us that a few prints are going a long way within here. So first thing that we saw is coming up at this point at the 1150, we definitely, kind of have enough. It's, not shocking whatsoever the fact that it came back down. There's definitely going to be a lot of profit taking coming in. So really all we care about is that new buying. So really what we need to see is to, technically kind of pulled back already, and it's just going to continue to make its move, following the rules extremely well. So once, we just basically need, for another entry, more prints. Okay, this 12, again, it's kind of funny because it's just been very, very weak as it's been getting to these higher levels. But it's still coming in. So as long as we, like I said, we continue to see this new buying, we should be able to, to be able to continue on. It's just, like I said, it is getting weaker and weaker up here as the volume's getting higher, which is it's just definitely not a great sign. Now, there are shares available. And just remember, a lot of times when we have something like that shows money time like this and this much money time this early in the morning, a lot of the times we see it end up coming back once the market opens, because obviously, someone's going to end up taking profit. And I just don't see enough buying to really see this thing continue to go at the rate that it is. Obviously, being parabolic, we're definitely going to be looking back. And then that's really what it is the personality. And it just followed the rules so well, because when we first came to 9, we got our pullback. We got our trade, the money time trade that came in. We got our pullback, then we got our money time trade. We then got our pullback, and now this is really, really money time. So it's even more important now as the stock is getting to these higher levels to make sure we see these new positions that are coming in. One thing about its personality, though, is it's just not printing a lot at the levels. That's how it works. So these prints like 1287, these little bursts like that are really what's feeding into this having to go. Now, you said something, Davis, earlier this morning, which was just absolutely perfect, is when it got its first ask prints at 9, the prints afterwards and the reaction, it looked urgent. And guess what? It was, because look at what's happening right now. So that was an absolutely phenomenal read. Just a beautiful, beautiful pre-market trade coming into it. Next thing looking at is OLB. So we're sitting in consolidation. We can see we got a little bit of money time coming in at 730, and then it's just been kind of floating around. Now we got really nice ask prints at 15 on that. It's kind of pulling back from. The only thing is that we're going to talk about this a little bit, or a little bit today, but these 1450 prints, I don't really have a lot of faith in them because of the way that the stock was trading when they happened. That's a lesson that's going to be for later. Well, actually, for this morning. All right, so overall, does it have the buying to be able to break 15? It absolutely does, but because of the interest levels at that 15, you can see they came right back down underneath. So we really needed to hold this consolidation. Really can't see it breaking under 13. If it breaks under 13, we get out of this building phase. We're going to be looking for a pretty big move towards that downside. And then from there, we're going to be looking for that trigger back towards the upside. But it's still, like I said, it still is building. It's just a little bit weak. I mean, there's just not as much buying in this consolidation as you would like to see, even though that it has controlling prints at that 15. ACIC, next thing on our list. So I like this a lot, and the reason being is because it moved up for a couple minutes, and then it's just been sitting there building the entire time. Now, if we look at the actual prints themselves, you can see this 15, it came between the bid and ask, but look at this buying from earlier this morning, right when it's become to 830. So we have that 1550, okay? Beautiful prints right here at 1545, those shorter, longer term type prints. Beautiful short-term prints here at that 1516. So as we're coming back up, we just want to keep seeing this, but this has the buying to really be able to explode out of this consolidation. It did go up on really nothing, so it wouldn't be shocking to see them bring it back down a little bit first, but overall, definitely love what I'm seeing there, because over the money flow within that consolidation is leaning way, way, way more towards buying than it is selling. And you can see these big prints coming out, 18,000, 15,000, 20,000, 14,000, 17,000. So there's a lot of big stuff that's going into this, especially during this building time. Next thing looking at is TLRY. So one of the things that we have to look at now, 57 just got aspirins as it was popping back up, as you know, before I started talking. But one of the things that I saw as it was coming up, we had a little bit of 56, but there wasn't a ton of buying. It was a little bit weak coming into this. And we know that this thing has just been kind of been on the up and up and up. So one of the things I'm going to be looking for is that selling to come in and see, it's going to need a reality check. And that's really what I'm going to be looking for, especially when they're making the move this early on kind of low volume. You would expect a little bit more from there. So if we continue to see this selling coming in and weak buying, we're going to be looking for a short to come back to reality first before it ends up going up. Now, I know the buying over the past few weeks, past few days has been huge. I understand that. So it's all completely warranted, this move towards the upside. I'm just not seeing those new positions coming in. If those new positions don't come in, it needs to go back down to where the new positions will come in. And at this moment, that's exactly what it's looking like. Now, two sideless stocks, OGI, first one. So the thing about this is that, and again, this is going to be our lesson that we're going to be talking about in class, the prints that came in at this 6 level. I didn't see what happened, obviously, from 7 to 8 as we're coming back down, but the prints that came in were not really in a great situation for it to be able to go back up. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened at 650. I wish I did. But overall, it's not showing me enough. I don't see it. I don't see the ability to really move. So anything that I see that this thing pushes up on, unfortunately, it's not as high percentage as we'd like. It's really about 65% on a trigger towards the upside right now, and that's not a great position to start off with. Hence it being on my side list at this moment. And then GSAT, our last one on our side list. Now, obviously, we know that we saw a huge amount of buying that was coming into this thing yesterday, and it has not stopped. I mean, look at some of these bursts. Now, keep in mind what we talked about yesterday in Traders Exchange. Okay, is GSAT a great stock if you're kind of in the beginning of your career of tape reading? Should you even be looking at GSAT and trying to understand what those prints are going to look like? No. Because of the fact, look, it's trading 24 million shares already. So when the market opens, this is going to go into the millions. So just be careful. Now, overall, it's got plenty of buying. It's been building all morning, and it's got all the ability in the world. I mean, look at this position right here, 275. I mean, it's gigantic. So it's showing us there's a lot of buying that's still coming into this stock. Obviously, it's really close to 3. So a trigger out of this consolidation doesn't give us much room to make money because of the fact that if we, the amount of buying that's in it, I'm going to have to assume when we get to 3, we're going to see some type of huge order that's going to be sitting out there. The orders are already huge as we've been coming into our morning. So it does take a lot to move it, but we're going to end up seeing a lot coming into there. And based on what we saw from yesterday, I mean, this thing can move. So it's on the side list just because of the setup that it's in right now. Like I said, a trigger right now, you're almost immediately at 3, and being almost immediately 3, then huge ass prints, and we end up pulling back. So really the better trade is going to be huge ass prints at 3. If this thing's really going to go, the better trade is going to be huge ass prints at 3, pull back, and then the real move that comes into it. Even though based off the buying that we're seeing coming into there, it still does show that we have a huge ability. I mean, the money flow is definitely showing towards the upside. So definitely looking good. All right, now anything else out there that I missed? Anything else out there that I missed? BPTH worth mentioning again? I don't think so. All right, guys, let's get ready for our morning. Class will begin at 10 a.m. Like I said, that link is already out, so make sure you check on your dashboard. Obviously, DM Dave if you have any problems. Other than that, we'll talk to everybody in the chat and the rest of you in classes later. Happy trading.